It's okay, I just had to light the mood a little bit because we are going to be trauma dumping.
But they show no fish, they say you found it, but she's still gonna hold on. They say you found it, but she doesn't.
Most importantly, this is literally about to be like a we listen, we don't judge, but a whole hour of just not judging. If you could give me an hour of no judgment and act like you're no better, because we are going to get into the truth. We are going to get into the why I am the way I am, how I became the way that I am, which obviously is going to be followed by some trauma because I feel like everybody who has a little to their personality has been through some shit. I've never had a good time around people who have never been through shit. Like, are you okay? I'm good, babe. We can laugh about it. We can chuckle a little bit. We can do a little kiki. Going back to the very beginning. Two fucked up people at that. Lay in a bed, they fuck, and then I'm born. Right? That if we're going all the way back to the beginning. Isabella is born. That is my first name for you guys that don't know. The real ones know that's the first name, but we go by Zeno because long story short, that's what everybody called me. It stuck. I liked it. I don't really like Isabella. I think that's a little more basic. And I am a Leo, so I am 100%, 1,000% full of myself. And I will say that Zeno is nowhere near basic. Not the name and not the person. I'm born into a dysfunctional family, so because I'm in a dysfunctional family, I'm also a dysfunctional person. Everything around me is chaos. Nothing is stable. There is no structure. Everything is just very up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, how are we going to show up today? What is going to be the problem today? How are we going to survive tomorrow? Again, emotionally speaking. Now, I do want to mention, this might sound like first world problems to people who have generally been through some things. Again, not that I haven't generally been through some things, but stable, when we're speaking financially, I've always been financially stable. So this isn't like I came from the trenches and I came from nothing type of it. No. I was very blessed that both of my parents worked extremely hard to always put a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and food on the table. Now, when we get into the fucked up part is when they started throwing that shit in my face. You lay down and you got fucked. You got pregnant. There's no reason you should be starting your arguments with, but I do this, and this for you. And it's almost like in the Bible and just in life itself, a mom is supposed to do this, and this for you. So it's not that I shouldn't be grateful, but why are we using that, you know, to go back and forth when I bring up something that it was no need. You just wanted to feel like the hero for a little bit. And I understand moms do that. But like I said, dysfunctional. Okay, I grew up having different homes. So if I wasn't sleeping at cousin's house, I was sleeping at grandma's house. If I wasn't sleeping at grandma's house, I was sleeping at dad's house. If I wasn't sleeping at dad's house, I was sleeping at mom's house. Now, the thing that all of these houses have in common is they all have some type of dysfunction. And this isn't a one in a million type of thing, right? I feel like, especially when we're talking about 2025, Gen Z is very committed to breaking those generational curses. And I feel like we get criticized because of it. We literally get criticized because of it. Oh, you think you have it so easy. Wasn't that the whole point? Wasn't that the point for you to come to America and have a family and make it easier for your family so they didn't have to go through what you were going through? Now I'm not going through what you went through, and now you're upset that I'm not going through what you went through because I'm showing up different. Obviously, I'm going to show up different because I'm not going through the same things that you went through. I didn't have to hitchhike to school. I didn't have to, you know, when I was a kid, I used to take an hour and a half to school with the heavy ass backpack and books, and okay, that was you. When I go to school, I'm seeing everybody die. I'm seeing everybody in face masks, and I'm clicking start now. And I'm FaceTiming my teacher to learn. That's how easy this shit is. And that's how detrimental it was. And that's a whole different type of dysfunction, right? That's when we get into depressive episodes. That's when we get into mental disorders and getting diagnosed and all types of shit. And like I said, we're telling the truth here. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. The nitty gritty. Mom is a single mom. We are both codependent on each other, and we are both trauma bonded with each other. There is a very thin line between friendship and
be nice. I'm finding it.
Parent boundaries, right? Because we're so close, because we go through everything together, because there's no boundaries. I'm a young, 6, 7-year-old. There's no reason that I should be in the middle of the things that I'm in the middle of, right? There's no reason why the same people who brought me into the world shouldn't be protecting that innocence that I still have, right? Which I don't know if they were so like tired or just hurt and traumatized themselves that they didn't even pay attention to that innocence slowly going away. But I wish they would have. You know, I really wish they would have. But like I said, like everything serves a purpose. We don't have any we don't have any resentment towards it. But at the same time, like I said, are you my mom or are you my best friend? And because I always resonated with the best friend part, there were no boundaries. I'm telling her everything. She's telling me everything. Now, I'm 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm supposed to be telling my mom everything, right? So she can protect me and so she can keep me safe and she can know what's going on in my life as a mom does. Now, I'm 7. I'm 8. I'm 9. I'm 10. There's no reason that I should know about my mom's financial struggles, because she is the one telling them to me. There's no reason that I should know about her relationship struggles with my father, right? She's getting one side of my father, her ex-husband, her hurt and inconsistent or just toxic ex-husband, because they were just toxic with each other, right? I'm supposed to be getting my father. Now, because she is willingly telling me, your dad is not shit. Your dad does not care about you. Your dad only cares about himself. Your dad is immature. Your dad is this. Your dad is that. And I'm just getting an earful of what my dad is. Mind you, my dad is none of these things to me. But as a husband, he was like that to her. And even though during my childhood, he wasn't those things. When I got older, I started to understand what my mom was saying. But again, I really wish that she would have given me the opportunity to actually have that conversation and be like, Mom, Dad is doing this, this, and this. And then I'd be grown enough to understand, like, yeah, when we were married, this, this, and this happened. But because I'm only a kid, now I'm confused. I'm like, is Dad my biggest hero and I love him? Or is he my biggest enemy and I need to protect myself from him? Or is it, I really got to make sure that I don't fuck this up. I really got to make sure I'm the best daughter and that I'm always with his approval, that I need to make sure that on my performance, I need an A+. Now, when we get into performance, we're relating with dysfunction. People who are born into dysfunctional families, you learn very early on to put on a mask, to put on a face. Whether you're acting like everything is okay, going above and beyond just so we don't argue today, or you're going above and beyond because you feel like your parents are going to break up and you're going to be the reason, because if you were never born, then it wouldn't be like this. Right? Your whole childhood, you just feel like a burden to everybody that you're around because you are taking from everybody that you are around. Because like I said, because I was born into a dysfunctional family, everybody in my family knew that it was dysfunctional, which is why I had so many homes. So even though, yeah, it was a little chaotic, I'm so thankful that I had that community and that village to be like, I saw the way that, you know, you were going through this, this, and this. How about you come over and stay to my house for a little bit? And that's fine. But I feel like the only reason that it was detrimental is because as I'm going to these different houses, each different house has a different routine. So my routine is shot out the window. My grades suck. My grades suck because my homework is everywhere. Oh, sorry, teacher, I can't turn that in. I left it at my cousin's house. Well, why are you at your cousin's house on Thursday? Listen, little bitch, do me a favor. Stick to standing at the whiteboard, doing that little wait thing that you like to do, turning the lights off. I'll wait. Yeah, you're going to wait. You're going to wait. You're the teacher. Don't try and get in my personal business. I used to always be very protective of my personal business as a kid, but, you know, sometimes you learn early on, there's certain things that you can't say, right? Because you're at school and you're listening to show and tells, or you're sitting around and you're listening to everyone talk about their family. And for some odd reason, every class that I was in, kids' parents were not separated. You know, it wasn't as common as it is now, I guess you could say, or at least in the schools that I was in. I don't know if God plays a part in that. Maybe he wanted me to go through those things so I could be qualified to talk about them. An experience in itself. It was just like, okay, all right. So you're telling me that your parents are together, but my parents are never going to be together again. And it was just, you know, as a kid, you're learning the world. Your innocence, like I said, is slowly going away. It shouldn't have gone away that young of an age, right? Like it shouldn't have. And that's when we get into why I am the way I am. Where does your maturity come from? All I was around was adults. So it's natural for me to be the age that I am, but not talk like the other kids. And instead I'm talking like the adults, which is why I'm always in some shit, right? Because I'm getting exposed to some shit. Sexual assault. The very first time I was sexually assaulted, I was 5 years old. I was 5 years old. I remember it was another kid. right? So it was, what's that word called? Casa, something like that. Something like that, whatever. I think it was like in 8th grade. And you know when like kids used to have like their, the little kids would read or get like the big kids, so like 5th, 6th grade would come and read to the small kids. Cool. Well, teacher wasn't looking, whatever it was. I don't know if he was being abused at his house and he was getting that type of thing. He did it to me, whatever. Don't remember the details. I didn't really remember until I got into my adolescence and I started to form a very, just a very toxic relationship with men. Because not only am I afraid of them and I'm, I think every man, I'm walking around with my guard up 24/7. I'm also performing 24/7, which, like I said, that's when we get into the relationship with the father. When we talk about inner child, when we talk about being a child in general, your relationship with your parents will set the tone for your romantic relationships in the future. And it's generally just about how it's handled and what you're brought into that is going to shape how you show up. So if my parents are dysfunctional and I'm spending every single day with them and I'm watching them do dysfunctional things, I'm watching my dad get out of cars and threaten other men to fight because somebody didn't beep. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm watching my mom argue with the person on the phone, and the person on the phone is my grandma, and I know it's my grandma because as soon as they're done being on the phone, she's going to come and vent to me about it. I'm a child. There's no reason that I should be hearing about the things that I'm hearing about. But at the same time, there's this part of me that, I'm very appreciative and I'm very empathetic towards her because she didn't have anybody else, which is why we were so mom and daughter together. But because we were together all the time and we're mom and daughter, and so if I'm a reflection of her and she's a reflection of me, we're triggered. Middle school, we're arguing every day. It'll be a blessing if we get through 1 week without an argument, 1 week without me getting grounded, 1 week without us going at each other's throats. High school, same shit. You know what I'm trying to say, but we'll get into that. Let's slow down a little bit. We're still on chapter 1. This is just chapter 1. We're still on chapter 1. Again, because they are not aware of how important my innocence is in order for it to be protected, I'm watching shows that I shouldn't be watching. I'm getting exposed to sex at a very young age, And the same way that the kid came to me and did what he did, what I'm watching at home, now I'm curious. Now I'm doing casa. Yeah. Now I'm having these really early sexual experiences as a child, right? You're going to a play date. You shouldn't be trying to play house. You know what I'm trying to say? And everybody knows what goes down with house. Who's the mom? Who's the dad? I'm bisexual, so I was always the dad. I had no problem taking that dominant role. And then speaking of dominance, right? Back to, again, still chapter 1, but maybe we're on like the 10th, 12th page by now? Something like that. Masculine energy. I'm watching my mom handle every single thing herself. Yeah, she's going to stress. Yeah, she's going to pull her hair out in front of me, and I'm talking literally. That hole on the wall. She goes insane. She goes insane. Well, she used to go insane. Because she's handling everything herself, she's into her masculine energy. Everybody knows that too much masculinity, you're fucked. You're fucked. As a man, too much masculinity is bad for you, right? If you never get in tune with your soft spot, you're never going to allow anybody to see it. And if you never allow anybody to see it, how is anybody going to love or take care of it? In the future. How is somebody going to know to show up for you? How are you going to have support if you're too busy keeping everything inside and you feel like you're less of a man? Because if you don't keep everything inside, then you must not be the man that you think you are. You must not be able to handle everything that you can handle. You can handle things and still fall apart. I really would like the men that watch me to hear me when I say that. You can handle everything and still fall apart. You are allowed to feel your emotions. And I really wish that my father was more in tune with that side of himself, because I feel like we would have had such a different relationship if emotions didn't make him squirm the way that it did, because he never learned how to handle it, right? When we're talking about backgrounds and generational curses, my father didn't have a father. He wasn't around. He was raised with just women. And this is something that I've said before. I genuinely believe men are more emotional than women, because women, we go through so much fucked up shit that we already naturally have this capacity for emotional strength. We show up. I can handle this. This is nothing. Look at once a month. We get on our periods. If a man had a period, he would die. when I was in a relationship, you should see how my boyfriend acted when he would get a sniffle. Like, they're just big babies. They're just big babies who were told that they had to be hard to survive. Because how unnatural is it to watch a man fall apart? You're a man. Why are you crying? You're a man. Why are you... Please. If he would have just made peace with that side of himself, I genuinely believe that I would have been comfortable being more emotional with him. You know, I would have been more comfortable talking to him and showing him all of me. I have always, again, now we get into dysfunction. I have always had multiple sides to me. And during my childhood, that was really bad because same thing. I don't know what mood my mom is going to be in today. My teachers don't know what mood I'm going to be in today. They don't know what kid I'm about to bully today. They don't know what drama I am about to start today. They don't know that. I don't even know that because I'm just going based off what I'm seeing. And every little thing used to tick my mom off. So every little thing is also ticking me off. But I learned very early on, and because I felt like a burden to my father already, my number one priority was I need to perform. I need to have this face on. I need to make sure everything is okay. I need to make sure that I'm perfect, no flaws. I'm talking, I don't even want to fart in front of him. This is my father, bro. You're 6. Why you can't fart? That's so unserious, but why you can't toot a little bit? You eat some cereal and it spill out of your mouth and not be like, oh my God, my dad is gonna hate me. Like, that's so stupid. But like I said, my mom was just telling me all these things that it was almost like I had to prepare to see a different side of him. Like, yeah, he might get his shit up and leave though. He might not want to stay around for this. God forbid you stress him out too much. He's not gonna want to stay around for you. You know? And that was also the verbal abuse that I was receiving from my mom. Because like I said, every little thing would tick her off. So everything was, what's wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Isabella, you're such a disgrace. You're such this, you're such that, you're such... So you hold on to these words. And your biggest fear now becomes, I never wanted to hear these words from somebody else again. So now you get into your mind and you're like, I need to be perfect. You need to be perfect in order to keep these people in your life. And if anything that I've learned during my healing journey is perfection is a myth. Perfection is a myth. Perfection is after you've practiced. There is no way to practice or rehearse conversations that you're having in the moment. Right? That's why so many people walk away from these conversations and they sit there and they play back everything they just said because they need to reach a certain standard. What standard? There's no need to rehearse conversations that are going to be had. There's no need to rehearse how you're going to show up. You're just going to show up the way you're going to show up, and that's that. And whoever leaves, they leave because they leave. It is what the fuck it is, right? And again, healing that side of me now as an adult, I understand, like, baby girl, you were never supposed to hate yourself for when they left. You're not the reason they left. Little old you, a child... You're not the reason that things aren't working out. You're not the reason why your family can't get along. You're not the, because as a child, like I said, because my mom is handing me all of her worries. And it's different if like I'm seeing her do it and I just walk in and I see something and fuck it, now I'm traumatized. But it's different when you are in the car and you are covering your hands because you don't want to hear her talk shit about your dad anymore. Because now you feel like you have to pick sides and you don't want to do that because you love both of them equally because they're your fucking parents. And she is forcing my hand off of my ear and she is making me listen to this. So in her way, she was also desperate herself because her desperation is coming from, I need to get this off my chest and you're the only one that I can talk to because I don't have a good relationship with my mom and I don't have a good relationship with my dad either. So we're talking about two very fucked up, traumatized, heartbroken, emotionally neglected and abused people having a child and now unfortunately making those same mistakes even though they're doing better, right? If we get into her childhood, my grandma didn't even hug or kiss her. There was no affection. There was no emotion. And so even though she is healing her generational curse, which is I'm going to give my child an emotional side of me because that's what she deserves. I'm getting loved every day. I'm getting kisses on the forehead before I go to sleep. I'm sleeping in my mom's bed until I turn 9 years old and I'm comfortable sleeping by myself. I lied 12. 12, because my mom struggled with money so much that we only had a 1-bedroom and we shared that room until I turned 12. No privacy. No privacy, no boundaries, right? Listen. And dad, he didn't have a dad. So he's thinking that even though he's not, comfortable showing that emotional side to me, or he's not comfortable with, or he's not aware of how much it means for him to see me, right? Me though, like my personality, my accomplishments, how important it is to be like, I'm proud of you, I love you, right? He didn't even have a dad physically present. So to him, he's doing enough. I'm in the room. Things are being paid for. She's not going days without eating. I'm being a dad. No. I still need a pat on the back every once in a while. I still need to hear I love you. I want to hear that I'm beautiful. Not that I need to sit with my legs crossed and the outfit that I have on shows too much butt. And because it shows too much butt, now I have to go change. Right? Again, this is coming off as protective. I understand that. But if any of my curvy girls, thick girls, or just women who have been sexualized in general, let's be real, as women, we get sexualized from the day we're born. Like, oh, your daughter's going to be trouble when she grows up. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm 9 years old and you're 40. You don't have any hair on your head. Your gums stink. They smell like nicotine because all you do is smoke. Right? And you have the nerve to go up to my father and your daughter's going to be a problem when she's older. What the fuck are you talking about? My clothes don't even match. That's how young I am. I still have glitter, glow-on shoes. And you're talking about your daughter is going to be a problem. Sir, you're a problem right now. You deserve jail. The fuck are you talking about? So, like I said, as a child, you don't really understand why you're getting all this attention. You don't understand why your body and your appearance is the main fucking topic of the conversation. And why you're not allowed to just be. You can't wear that makes you look fast. You can't wear that, it's riding up. You're going to school, you're getting dress coded for wearing some shorts. The white bitch right next to you is wearing the same thing. Same shorts, same brand, same size. But because I'm wearing it, now I look too sexual. Now I'm asking for attention, or now this isn't appropriate for a child. It's some shorts. Grow the fuck up. If your dick get hard when you look at some little girl with shorts on, you're the problem, not the girl wearing the shorts. Can you change? My friends are coming over. Okay, if you feel like your friends are a threat, don't have them come over. Because now I can't just, But then again, like I said, my parents are Brazilian. Like, it's as traditional as it gets. Curse words, forget about it. Ass out, tits out, forget about it. And the hypersexuality, right? That's for chapter 2. We're still on chapter 1. Are you guys here? This is the podcast at this point. I hope you guys are playing this while you're doing things around the house. Traditional curses are being broken. Absolutely. Is it enough for me though? No. So I'm going through all this pain so I can now heal fully. Now I have everything that I need. I've seen everything that I don't want to repeat. I've seen everything that I don't want to do. You know what I'm trying to say? I've seen how things are going to go if I make those same decisions. I see how my relationships can end up if I don't actually learn how to show myself the love that I need without trying to find it anywhere else. Because of how unstable both of my relationships with my parents were in different ways, I would attach myself to any adult around me. Like my teachers, no boundaries. No boundaries. I need to be hugging them. I need to be talking to them. I need to be praised. I need affirmations. You can tell that this was a deprived kid from the love and attention that she needed. Because my mom's version of love and attention was her emotional side, but with no boundaries. She didn't know when to, this is my daughter. She can't hear about this. She can't see this. She shouldn't be seeing me like this. Instead of, I love you so much. I'm counting on you to listen to me vent and dump all of this negative energy and emotions on you and just hope that you handle it because I have no one else. What the fuck are we talking about? I'm a kid. And then that's when we get into, I don't feel like I fit in at all. I get to school, I don't feel like I fit in. So now I'm wearing another mask. So at home, I have to make sure everything is okay. I have to act like I'm super strong and everything is together because people are counting on me to do so. At dad's house, I'm putting on a performance and I'm leaving the parts of myself that I resonate with, right? So my ratchet side. I have a ratchet side. I've accepted it. It is what the fuck It is. I love some ratchetness because to me, ratchetness is freedom. To me, it's rebellion. And I've always resonated very well with freedom and rebellion. I don't like to do the things that other people are doing. I've learned to love that side of myself because, you know, it's kind of just like, it's nice to be outside the box sometimes. It's nice to not do the same thing that everyone else does. It's nice to see things in a different light because now things are interesting, you know? But it's also nice to have enough awareness to, if I needed to be in that perspective, then I can be in that perspective as well. Because like I said, because of all these different houses, because of all these different environments, because of all this different energy, I'm learning very quickly that I'm adapting to my environment. So it's easy to put on a performance. It's easy to fit in with the quiet kid if I just act like I'm a quiet kid myself. It's easy to fit in with the mean girls if I'm bullying people at school and I'm acting like the mean girl myself. It's easy to act like I have everything together if the reason why I need to act like everything is together is because I'm afraid that my dad isn't gonna give a shit one day. You know, it's easy to put on this mask, but all this pressure that I'm putting onto myself, I'm not realizing how detrimental it would be to my character and to my life moving forward. Now we get into chapter 2. Now we're in middle school, right? Now we're in middle school. So we're not a little girl anymore, which, let's be real, because of the things that I was around, did we really get the chance to be a little girl? Not really. You know, while kids are playing with dolls, I'm worried about how my mom is going to pay bills. While kids are, hey, do you want to play Barbies? I'm playing house. So not only am I getting touched on, I'm doing the touching. This is extremely difficult to deal with in middle school because now these memories out of nowhere are rushing back, right? And nobody talks about these things because everybody's ashamed to talk about them. Everybody is afraid to talk about them. And everybody begins to start to feel like they are the only ones going through it. They feel like they are the only ones going through it. Like, nobody else is going to relate to this. I'm a freak. That's how I felt. I'm like, what the fuck? Are people doing this at sleepovers or is it just me? You know what I'm trying to say? So now we get into all these memories that are coming back and all this guilt that I am feeling. Because now I'm learning about what rape is, you know, because middle school, you're having these conversations. You're having these conversations about what to do if somebody touches you without consent. You're having these experiences, right? I'm getting sexually assaulted at school. I'm walking around, my ass is getting smacked for no reason. I'm you know, hanging out with the guy and I'm getting pressured to do things that I don't want to do for no reason. And to me, I'm just thinking like, what the fuck is going on that nobody is listening to me? Why doesn't my no mean anything? Why doesn't me saying, do not touch me mean anything? Why does me crying and flipping out at home because I just can't take it anymore? Why isn't that sparking any change, you know? And it's very easy for a kid to communicate to themselves, okay, I am not enough. I'm not enough. I need to change something about myself. And that's how you become your biggest critic. That's how you become your biggest critic. You begin to hate yourself. You begin to hate the way that you look, hate the way that you talk, hate the way that you act, hate the way that you present yourself. In every conversation, you are performing. And so because you're performing, as soon as you're done with the conversation, do you think you actually have time to sit and bask in that positive feeling that you got from the conversation? You don't, because you're too busy worried about if you did it right. Did what right? Be human? Have a conversation? There's a right and wrong for that? There's not. There shouldn't be. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? This is when my dominance and my ego is at its highest, right? It's ego because even though I feel uncomfortable when it comes to being sexually assaulted, now there's this hypersexuality where I want to be looked at in that kind of way. Because in my mind, if I'm looked at that kind of way, I have somebody's attention. What am I mistaking attention for? Being chosen. If he wants to fuck me, then he must choose me. If he likes me, then he must choose me. If he wants to be around me, then he's choosing me. I'm good enough. Yay, I'm getting chosen. And you know, when you're deprived at home, it's very easy for you to throw away your dignity and your self-respect just to get a little bit of that, right? So now, even though I'm in middle school, I'm purposely being fast. I'm purposely wearing crop tops and I'm purposely showing my body and I am purposely being mean to girls when men are in the room because I want all the attention for myself because I'm not getting any at home. Are we still listening and not judging? I hope the fuck so. It is what the fuck it is. It is what it is. My friends are drained by it. My parents don't see it because I'm too busy putting on an act at home. Every time that they would try to, You know, maybe you shouldn't be wearing that. Maybe you shouldn't hang out with that person. Maybe you shouldn't. And it's funny because it's like when we get into middle school, this is 6th and 7th grade. I am a complete goody two shoes. I'm watching everybody smoke and drink. And I'm coming back home and I'm like, Mom, oh my gosh, you'd never believe it. I was at my friend's house, Mom, and they were smoking and they were talking about making out with guys. Can you believe it? I don't want to go there anymore. Come pick me up. But now it's 8th grade, and now it's, wait a second, everybody's having their first kiss, everybody's getting, you know, freaky deaky neaky. Why am I getting freaky deaky neaky with? Why do you want to get freaky deaky neaky with? Because of what the freaky neaky deaky shit represents. It represents attraction, and if somebody's attracted to you, well, then you must be attractive. And how important was being attractive at that time? We're talking about there is no innocence left, right? Middle school, everyone has phones. Every single girl, every pretty girl that I knew at that time, and I bet today, does not believe that they are pretty unless somebody else says it. They don't even see themselves the way other people see themselves because they are so busy trying to compete, and they are so busy trying to live up to a standard that nobody created. Society created it. But when we get into your soul, your spirit, your character, if you think highly of yourself, then that is all that matters. And highly of yourself as in you deserve the best. You deserve the best relationship. You deserve the best career. You deserve to have your goals met. You deserve to have that accomplished feeling on the other side of things. You deserve good things, right? Instead of focusing on what you don't have. You're beautiful and your features stand out, but because they don't look like literally every single other girl on your For You page, because let's be real, everybody has the same face nowadays. Same face. Saying that BBL face. I don't even have to put a picture because it's so common that everybody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Everybody looks the same, talks the same, acts the same. So when we get into individuality, I'm in middle school. I have none. All I want to do is be popular. All I want to do is be considered pretty. And I don't care what I'm going to do to change myself. As long as I get that approval, then I'm doing something right. Wrong. You're throwing yourself away. You're throwing yourself away and you're not giving yourself the power to be. Right? As a kid, I dreamed of being a singer. Do you think I actually took those solos, though, and put myself out there? No, I was too afraid of what everyone else would think. Why? Why would it matter? Who are these people to you? Right? But you're a kid. You're not thinking like that. You're just, I need to be popular. Right? And if I'm so mean to everybody else, then everybody can, you know, everybody can know that, hold on a second, I can't be mean to her or she'll be mean to me. So that's when we get into an act. And not only is it a performance, but I'm receiving approval from it to my face. In the back, everyone is saying, Zeno is a pick-me. Zeno is a bitch. Zeno is rude. Zeno only cares about herself. Zeno shows off her body too much. But in my face, everybody wants to be my friend. Yeah, because they're like afraid of me or intimidated or whatever the fuck. Because like I said, I was a bully. I was a bully. I don't take back anybody that I smacked in middle school though. Like I said, that whole sexual assault shit, I'm not joking around. I would walk to a class, I'd feel somebody smack my ass. By the time that class was over, I was in their class, giving a smack to the face. I'm slapping the shit out of you, because why the fuck did you just touch me? You're in front of me, and I told you to move, and you didn't move. And now you're trying to sit here and you're trying to pressure me to do something I don't want to do. Now I'm going to kick you in the balls, and I'm kicking you in the balls. And now I'm getting called to the principal, like, Isabella did this. I'm going home, I'm like, but Mom, he did this, this, and this. So what the fuck did you want me to do? I've lived 20,000 lives. So the same 20,000 lives that I've lived are filled with 20,000 different people who have 20,000 different versions of me. There are people now that think I am the sweetest. There are people now that think that, you know, I'm such a good friend. There's people from years ago that would never even, good friend and me wouldn't even be in the same fucking category. But yeah, now we get into hypersexuality, right? So as a young girl, I'm throwing all of my innocence away myself. Right? Because we didn't have control if we kept our innocence as a child because we're being exposed to so many things at a young age. But now that I'm so advanced from all these other kids, I'm using that to my advantage. Like I'm just doing whatever the fuck I want. No limit, no boundaries, no structure, no routine. I still don't have a routine. My grades are still failing. You know, I'm still not getting along with my teachers because I had a bad day at home and nobody paid attention to me. So now I'm about to sit here and act like the biggest bitch and argue with my math teacher and curse my math teacher out because I want everybody to like me and praise me when I get out of class. Dumb shit like that. People will confuse attention with intention. Just because somebody is giving you attention does not mean anything. It's not significant. It doesn't have any importance. It's not going to fulfill you in any type of way. It's not going to make a difference in any type of way, because it's just attention. And as a human, you are going to get attention. Attention is everywhere. It does not matter. Like it doesn't matter. You don't want to, oh my God, I feel so good about this attention. And you start to attach yourself and you start to mistake it and romanticize it, right? Now we get into our boy crazy phase. I was boy crazy. I was boy fucking crazy. And the only reason that I was boy crazy is because, like I said, I associated romantic love or being looked at, you know, I mistook them for wanting to experience and touch me for actually wanting me. And so we get into boy crazy. The boys that wanted me, I did not want. This is middle school. This is how early it's starting. The nice guys, the kind guys, the one that actually give a fuck about you, the ones that are going out of their way to, what was his name? This kid, Isaac. He used to want to buy me iced coffee in the morning, and he used to want to give me little snacks and stuff. And, you know, do you think I gave a fuck about Isaac? I should have. I didn't. I chose the one that didn't even look at me. I chose the one that would pick and choose when he wanted to speak to me and when he didn't. I pick and chose the one that purposely would go around and talk shit about me, and I did everything in my power to get on his good side so it can change from this girl is so annoying to I like her. That's crazy. That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself, right? Because, again, performance. You're going home, you're performing. You're going to school, you're performing. Just be yourself. But I did not understand that it was safe to be myself. I didn't feel safe or secure with that part of myself. So every guy that I dealt with from middle school, which this is middle school, we're doing To Be Honest, we're doing rates, we're doing kissing challenges, we're going to bounce for the 4th time in the week, and everybody is sitting in each other's laps, and this is like as deep as it gets. You know, like you're coming back home from the sleepover and you're telling your friends, oh my God, I sat on his lap. And I'm still on some goody two-shoe shit. I'm like, oh my God, you sat on his lap? That's so bad. You can't do that. Okay, no, girl, what's bad is the fact that you're boy crazy. You can't have one sleepover without bringing up a boy. You can't take one picture without bringing up a boy. And I know the people in my life were so annoyed by that, and I really wish that they could have just understood, or maybe they did, but maybe they just didn't care. You know, I've had male-centered friendships since I've healed, and you know, emotional intelligence, just because you're aware of why the person is hurting you, just because you're aware of the reasons why, doesn't actually make it okay. Like, it doesn't mean that it justifies the disrespect that you're getting. It doesn't mean that it justifies the negative experiences that you're in because you don't have the nerve to say, hey, I feel bad for you, but I'm not really taking your shit. And once you get into the, damn, I feel bad for you, but I'm not taking your shit, your life changes. Your life changes because once you stop making excuses for other people, you stop making excuses for yourself. And every friendship that I had, and it's being reflected to me, I'm like, why the fuck does she care so much? Oh my God, this is so annoying. And then I quickly realized, I'm like, wait a second. This was you though. Maybe this still is you. If it's still triggering you, then it resonates with you somehow. And that's when we get into, where's my journal? Let me show you. Let me show you my journal. You see the hang time though? You see the, yeah, you see it. You see it. That's when we get into journaling. Where's my other journal? Sorry, you guys, I'm getting my journals throughout the years. Hold on, I'm getting my journals throughout the years. Now, hold on, my nails. Chill, that hurt a little bit, chill. And now we get into journals, right? I'm talking my very first one. Middle school. I didn't stay consistent though. I didn't really stay consistent the way that I wanted to, which is why a lot of the pages say like, I'm so sorry I haven't written in you in so long. It was weeks. Like I'd write, but look at the boy crazy shit. You think this is a joke? It's not. All you see is he looked at me to the kiss marks. Like, you're such a girl. Look. Dear diary. Then I stop, right? It just stops. I stop journaling. I stop expressing myself. Other journal. And like now when we get into like high school, I'm still journaling a little bit. But the past 2 years, I can confidently say I journal at least 3-4 times a week. It doesn't have to be every day, but I stay consistent. I check in with myself, which like I said, that's when we get into, okay, I'm being triggered. This girl's annoying me. Why is this girl annoying me? And that's why I always preach in my mental health videos, you need to get curious. You need to stop underestimating the power of curiosity. There is power in being curious to why you are showing up the way that you are. There is power in being curious to why your life is the way that it is. You know, why are these things happening? Start getting into the whys, the wheres, the whats, the hows, because that's where knowledge comes from. That's when we get into, oh, my educated queen. I don't read books. I read self-help books. I'm educated when it comes to emotional. And don't get me wrong, like I do have a little bit of like school intelligence, you know, like I'll pass a class. You know, if I'm really dedicated to it, but I hate authority. So am I really going to be dedicated to it? Probably not. I'm probably just going to want to do my own shit, you know? But at the same time, I check in with myself. So all of my knowledge generally comes from within. My wisdom comes from within because I went within, which again is why I stress the importance of start asking questions. Even if you don't have the answer, just you asking the question alone is going to lead to the answer. Little eye. I don't give a fuck. I'm still obsessed with drawing eyes, and I don't give a fuck. I'll draw an eye in the back of a class to this day. Anyway. Journal. This one. When is this one from? Let me see if I wrote the year down. I didn't. Ooh, okay, handwriting. Look, journal. And as I'm journaling, I'm documenting each and every chapter of my life. So if we go back to, where's the older one? What is that here? Oh, that one over there, the one that I first showed. Our mean girl phase. Because I wrote down and documented every single question that I had, every single negative emotion that I had, God forbid something happens in my life and it triggers that old version of myself, I can go back and I can read my own documentation of that phase, and I can be reminded of why it's so important to stay on the path that I'm on right now, why it's so important to keep going, why it's so important to not give up on the days that you want to. So not only am I documenting my life, but I'm also setting aside time to bring myself my own reassurance. I don't need reassurance or validation from anybody else because the truth is in the writing. I don't need to know what people think of me because I know the truth and I know who I am in my writing. I see my character, you know, I see how I'm showing up. I see how I'm improving. So what can you really say to me that I haven't already reflected or haven't already tapped into? What can you say to me that I haven't already went through all that guilt and shame about? What can you really say to me that's going to change the way that I view myself if all I do is write about who I am and why I show up the way that I show up? You can't do shit for me. And what that does is it puts you in a position of power. It puts you in a position of, I know myself. And because I know myself, I can go out into the world like I know myself. You're not going to be intimidated by people who don't know themselves. You're not going to feel like you have to perform or be somebody in order to get some acceptance, because you know that you are a good person. So you know that you are deserving of good things. Now you can go out into the world and act like it and attract those good things. You understand what I'm trying to say? So when we talk about journaling, it has changed my life. I will be getting a tattoo dedicated to it. I will. And on my grave, it's going to say something about journaling, because I promise you, if it wasn't for that pen and paper, I would have killed myself a very long time ago. I would have gave up a very long time ago. I would have been a horrible person if I didn't pick up that pen and that paper. So anyway, let's keep going. This one is my favorite because you see the notes? There you go. This one right here, he pushes his feelings away. I know exactly what this page is about. This is the page about when I fell in love with avoidant. Worst experience in my life, most beautiful experience in my life, because like of all the emotions that I felt and like how much it opened up a new version of myself that I needed to meet. But at the same time, it was so heartbreaking and it was so damaging, and like I lost hair, lost weight, everything. Like when I told you that this was a trauma dump, it's the trauma dump. This is probably the most vulnerable. This is probably the most vulnerable video that I've made yet. I'm happy though. Like I feel good about this. This feels good. I like this. Okay, anyway. The little snowflake is because I went back and I read the page and I made a note of either a new perspective that I had on the situation or how I can show up better the next time. So like I said, like lots of reflection, lots of journaling, lots of, okay, This is like my favorite one. I literally just finished this. And this journal right here, which is number what? 5. This journal right here was really just proof of the work that I put in coming back to me. Like this journal right here, oh my gosh, this journal is really where I knew that I was being consistent. Because why did I just buy this journal and in 2 months I'm done? I'm writing every single day. Life is kicking my ass. I'm writing every single day. Right? Now we get into, well, why was life kicking your ass? I'm so happy you asked. Cool. High school. Still the same old performative, pick me, choose me, love me girl. But now she's growing up a little bit. Now she's working. I've been working since I was 14. So when you guys, oh, you stay with the job. Oh, baby. Since I was 14, I stay with the job. Since I was 14, I get my own money. Because it's like, I don't want to have to ask my mom and then it'd be thrown in my face later. It's the truth. I don't want to have to ask for help or support and it be thrown in my face later. Because I know that before I even, hey, mom, can I get... This might be coming up in my face later, which I really wish that my middle school friends paid attention to, because I literally just went through hell and back for my mom to say yes, and now I'm here and like we're not even hanging out. Like I'm literally risking myself getting in trouble or getting the shit thrown in my face to hang out with you, and it's like it doesn't even matter. So, and that's another thing. Oh my gosh, I would purposely hang out with people that I knew did not like me just out of the fact that maybe I could change their mind. Dumbass bitch, just stupid. Like you're just like, ugh. Like I said, high school. So high school, everything changes. High school, everything changes. Everything is about sex, drugs, alcohol, and even my living situation has changed, right? Up until then, it was only been me and my mom. Now mom is struggling with money so much because she just got pregnant out of nowhere. Right? Now we get into me turning into a big sister. And I really don't want to get emotional. Because I really don't think that it's needed. But if I do, I do. And I'm not going to turn the camera off. So if I get emotional, I get emotional. It is what the fuck it is. Being a big sister single-handedly changed my entire life. Like everything changed once my brother came into my life. And I prayed to have a sibling because like I said, I'm at school and I'm watching people's family dynamics and I'm like, damn, me and my mom must be some fucking losers because she doesn't have a husband. I don't have a dad in the house. It's just me and her most of the time. Whatever. I remember me going to church and lighting a candle and wishing and saying, God, please bring me a sibling. I should have been more specific. Not gonna lie, I should have been more specific because, oh my gosh. The things that my mom had to go through raising my brother. And now we get into, you know, that maternal side that's always really been there because like I said, as a kid I've been trying to take care of everybody's emotional well-being. I've been trying to, whether that means I have to perform to make sure that it stays stable or that I literally have to be the person carrying it. Like, no dad, it's gonna be okay. No mom, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Is anybody gonna take some time to tell me it's gonna be okay? No, just come to me when you need it. And that reflected in all my other relationships. Because I don't know boundaries. I don't know how to say no. I don't know how to be like, yeah, you know what? I can't really show up for you in that way. Sorry. And not feel like total shit about it. Right? Again, like I said, fast forward. My brother comes into my life. I am 13 years old. There's a 13-year age difference. When my cousin came into my life, I changed diapers. I gave baths. I remember how this goes. But now it's an everyday thing. Now I come home. I'm taking care of my brother. I'm making sure that he goes to sleep. I'm feeling like I need to take care of my brother to give my mom a break. And it wasn't like, I love babies. I've always loved children. I have always loved babies. I love the innocence that comes with it. I love the fact that they can change your mood and words don't even need to be said. Like they could just look at you and they're just the cutest thing ever. And I don't know if that's like a scientific type of thing. I don't know if it's a biology type of thing. You know, like women were supposed to feel that way. But I did not care. Like, my life became my brother. I'm coming home. I want to put my brother to sleep. I'm waking up in the middle of the night willingly because I can't wait to spend time with my brother. I can't wait to just hold him because I'm so thankful and I'm so fulfilled that I have a brother. Like, being a sister meant so much to me because now it's like, ugh, I'm not alone. You know, I don't have to play with my imaginary friends that I just came up with in my mind. I don't have to watch YouTube videos of things that I know that I shouldn't be watching because I'm bored and there's nothing better to do. But now I can just fill my time with my sibling. And he's the cutest thing. He's the cutest fucking thing. He's the chubbiest, cutest. I'm probably just going to put like a baby picture for you guys to see. But me and my brother. But kids are expensive. And again, my mom is a single parent. She got pregnant out of nowhere. You know, it wasn't like she had a boyfriend. It was just like, okay, this is her baby daddy. And now I'm getting used to dropping my baby brother off with his father and shit like that. You know what I mean? So when it came to the living situation, we no longer have the money to stay where we are. And now we have to move. So now we move in with my grandma. Grandma and mom have the worst relationship ever. Like, the worst relationship ever. So even though me and mom already had our emotionally unstable relationship, we already had our toxicity and our arguing and going back and forth. Now I'm watching them go back and forth. Not only are they going back and forth, they're purposely bringing me into it. If mom is not around, grandma's talking shit about mom to me. If grandma's not around, mom is talking shit about grandma to me. Either way, I'm getting an earful of it. I feel responsible of it. I feel like I have to get in the middle. I feel like I have to fix it because I'm the only one with enough awareness of either how to fix it or how to just set those boundaries, right? I guess I'm the only one who wants to. Because one thing about being in that dysfunctional part of your life, and something that people really don't like to admit, is it gets addicting for your ego to feed off of. There's a reason why the people around you love to gossip. It is something about talking shit about somebody else that makes you feel better about yourself that is addicting, which it's tempting. You know, you need to be careful with that. You need to be careful of the things that you say when you are in an insecure state of mind. You need to be careful when you are in a jealous or envy spirit and you can't be happy for the people around you because you feel like, oh my God, what about me? That what about me mindset is miserable in itself, which is why now in my healing journey, I make it a staple for me to not be friends with people like that. You're not about to come around me and talk shit about people who are just trying. You're not about to come around me and talk shit about people's clothing. You know, you're not about to come around me and talk shit about how people look, you know, because now it's like you're denying the fact that you also feel that way about yourself. Like, when we talk about human connection, the only thing that keeps us connected, the only thing that allows us to relate is our imperfections, is our pain, is our struggle, is our need for, I really need somebody right now. Everybody has that I really need somebody right now feeling because everybody needs each other. So once, you know, and I've always been tapped in with that side, but like I said, because I want to be friends with these girls so bad, because I want to fit in so bad, now I'm in middle school and I'm doing the same thing. No, thank you. Now I'm in high school and I'm doing the same thing. No, thank you. 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 Thank you. Anybody who you are around that is constantly in drama, you're really close to crossing that miserable line. You're very close to crossing that miserable line. As a big sister, the best thing that I could tell you is stay away from people who gossip. Let me write this down, actually, so I can make a TikTok after this. No, I'm in my content bag. That's okay. Stay away from people who gossip. Stay away from people who gossip. Stay away from people who are constantly in drama because they feed off of it. Stay away from people who are always in drama. Stay away from people who are always in gossip because they feed off of it. Not them. Not them at their core. Their ego. Their ego. Do not hang around people who gossip, okay? You're close to crossing a very miserable line and becoming just like them. Simple. I don't care. If you have somebody around you who is always in the middle of some shit, not life stuff, not life situations, but constantly in arguments with their partner, constantly in arguments with their friends, constantly beating a bitch up this weekend and getting into another fight this weekend, constantly in some type of conflict with people, they have now entered a conflict type of spirit. And most importantly, they're going to feed off of it, not their spirit. No, 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 no. Their spirit's not getting fed off of it. If anything, the negativity is feeding off their spirit, their light, that they're not even aware of because they're so in tune with their ego. Their ego is feeding off of it. The person that they think they are is feeding off of it. And it's very difficult to hang out with people that you cannot read. It is very difficult to hang out with people that you do not know all the way because you don't know their next move. You don't know if this is genuine. You don't know if this is trustworthy. You don't know if you're safe here. You don't know if you're the next person being talked shit about. So why hang out with people that you don't like if you know that the people that you don't like don't even like themselves? Like I said, I'm taking on that role, right? I'm taking on that role because I feel responsible for that role. But now I'm resenting my mom because it's like, well, if you never got pregnant, then I wouldn't have to carry everything that I'm carrying. And if you never had to move to grandma's, then I wouldn't have to carry everything that I'm carrying. And if you and dad would have just stayed together, now I'm in high school and now I'm feeling everything. I'm feeling my inner child is here. She's here. She's angry. She's mad. She's not being heard. She's ready to fuck some shit up. And that's exactly what the fuck I did. Now I'm starting to smoke weed. I don't care about no goody two shoes, no nothing. I'm seeing everybody else do it great. I want to do it too. I'm smoking weed. I'm coming home. I'm getting high. I'm taking edibles. I'm drinking when I feel like it, you know, and everything has now become about men. Fully. Middle school, it was only when I was at school. Now, every single area in my life is being, is how can we please this man? How can we be pretty enough for, that was the theme. That was the theme. And it was accompanied by a person that I was on and off with. Now, I didn't have the knowledge that I have now, so now I know that he was just a reflection of me. And everything that he triggered within me was already a trigger in itself. So when he couldn't show up for me, I couldn't show up for myself. That's being reflected to me within this relationship. When he couldn't be honest about his feelings, when he couldn't, because he was so emotionally insecure, every frustration and anger that I felt seeing that was really just reflecting back to me all of my emotional insecurity. Because if I was secure, then I wouldn't even be in the situation to begin with. Mind you, I'm in high school. But I'm treating this relationship like it is life or death. Like we need to be together and I'm going to do anything in my power that I can for us to be together. And it tore me the fuck apart. It tore me the fuck apart. Right? Now we get into school settings. Now I'm at a different school. So all of my friends that went to their high school, I'm watching them on Snapchat every day. I'm watching them on Instagram. And these are horrible people. These are horrible people. Oh my gosh, these are horrible people. These are people that my mom, you know how a mom's intuition is always right? My mom wouldn't even look these people in the eye because that's how horrible they were. Like bullies, wannabes, cloud chasers. You know what I'm trying to say? Cloud chasers, all insecure, all jealous. And that's all that was, a spirit of just jealousy and envy and conflict. And God has now moved me away from that. And I'm so busy in my own ego that I can't even recognize what he just did for me. Now I'm at school and I'm bored out of my mind. And the same boredom that I'm struggling with is the stability that I'm supposed to be building. Yeah, mom and grandma might argue sometimes at school, but I'm at school, I actually can focus. There isn't fights going on around me. There isn't friends that I know hate me behind my back. This is an opportunity to start new. This is an opportunity to be a different person and get to know different people and just have a regular school experience, whatever the fuck. But I'm so busy focusing on what I'm missing out on that I'm purposely still putting myself into this jealous act and this envious act and not getting along with friends and purposely getting into drama. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I can't let the past go. I can't. I'm too attached to my old identity. I can't even fathom a new experience. New to me is now threatening because I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you just came and you just got everything up and moved up out of the house and now I'm just supposed to come to school and like the school that I'm at. I don't. And that's when we get, and I think that's also when we get into like a little bit of the ratchetness as well. because I grew up around Black people. That's the best way that I can put it. Like, yeah, you know, at home, no. On dad's side, my cousins were Black, but they weren't the kind of Black that I was associated with at school. You know, I'm talking hip hop, R&B, and long nails and buns and edges, and all of this is like super like beautiful and fun to me. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, this is different to me. This is like, hold on a second. You're telling me these hairs have been here my whole life and I can swoop those shits? But now it's like I'm losing sight of my culture and my upbringing as well, because I want to fit in so bad that now I'm changing certain things about myself to now fit in with this group. So it's like, now it's come natural to me because, like I said, I've always been fascinated with R&B, and because I was fascinated with R&B, that brought me into hip hop. And any show that I would watch, hip hop show, movie, hip hop. You know what I'm trying to say? The song that I'm listening to, R&B. The friend's house that I am, she's Black. I always gravitated towards those type of people. You know what I'm trying to say? And when I say those type of people, I just mean like Black culture in itself is a very rebellious thing to people who don't understand it, even though it's the way that you're supposed to be living, right? When we get into spirituality and we get into the blueprint and we get into divinity, there's nothing more spiritual than a Black woman. There's nothing more divine than melanated people, because they are born with that type of power. You know what I'm trying to say? They're born with that type of spiritual strength, because they need to have that spiritual strength, because the world is attacking them half the fucking time, right? So like I said, even though it's not, you know, really accepted with everybody else, they don't give a fuck. And that's something that's threatening to the other party, right? If we were to get into politics, which I'm not going to get into politics. Let's be real. Politics is a fucking scam. But besides, like I said, I mentioned that because now I'm in a different school where there's barely any Black students. So the things that I'm used to being around, right, and the friends that I have, I'm hanging out with a whole bunch of girls that say literally, and they drag out their words like this, and they all wear the same Lululemon, and they all wear the same blonde ponytail with the same headband and the same blue eyes and this is what I'm surrounded by. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can't have fun here. I can't be myself here. Which, like I said, like, that's who I was. Like, but my parents didn't really know that, because, like I said, I'd come home and perform. So that's why I felt like with my friends, I was like, okay, I could just, like, be myself. I could just be free, you know? Because I've always been an extra person. I'm a fucking Leo. Do I need to say more? I'm a fucking Leo. I'm a Leo. Fire sign, explosive, dramatic. Like, that's always going to be my nature, you know? I've just learned how to balance the both. I've learned to tap into both. But like I said, now I'm like, I hate this school. I hate these people, you know? And I'm mad at everybody, and everybody's going to feel it. So I start to rebel, and I start doing a lot of shit that I shouldn't. And I don't really get addicted to weed. It's really just whatever to me. Now we're really going to get into chapter 3. Chapter 3 is my spiritual awakening. Oh, babe. I've always had a relationship with the higher power. I've always known that there is something bigger than us providing and protecting for us. Like, there's, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, there is a creator. There is a creator. I was created. I had to come from something. So I've always believed in something. So when we take away logic and we take away sense, when it comes to certain chapters of my life, I'm going through God alone. God, please heal my mom and heal this. And things are being shown to me that, okay, there is a God. God is real, type of thing. You know what I'm trying to say? But now we get into spirituality, and we get to unlearn everything that we've learned. Because up until this moment, I'm thinking that religion is a positive thing, and that church is a positive thing, and that this is something that was built out of, out of love and faith alone. Now that I'm getting a little older, I'm learning that this is actually something that was set up to divide us. This was actually something that was, you know, brought on by slave masters to brainwash people and make them do what they wanted to do and believe that a God was outside of them, so they never actually went within themselves, type of thing. Now I'm really getting deep into, okay, what is life? Why am I here? What the fuck? Why doesn't any of this make any sense? And the reason why was because of my relationship. Now I'm gonna put a picture right here. I was 15 when I met this man, and I'm probably going to cry during this chapter, and that's okay. We had some healing to discuss. I mentioned that in the beginning of the video, so we have some healing to discuss. Okay? Thanks. 15 years old. I'm 15 years old. And this time, I'm freshly out of something toxic, but there's just this thing about this guy that I can't really shake. Right? It feels different. It feels like actual connection. My appearance isn't being mentioned. My body isn't trying to be touched. It's just, I get you, you get me. I could be around you forever type of vibe. And it started off that way. So because of all the toxicity beforehand, I'm like, I don't know if this is the best choice. I don't know if it, but I said, fuck it. Let me just see what it is, right? Met this guy. We fall in love. Simple. Fall in love. We have a beautiful relationship, 2.5 years of a beautiful relationship. Within this relationship, I'm emotionally unstable, and he is an angel to put up with all of my bullshit, my mood swings, my constant reassurance, my constant I need. But because he didn't have any backbone either, now we're codependent on each other. So think about it, like 2 kids, right, that are practically trying to raise themselves, but within each other. He's being that father figure that I never really had for me, and I'm being the mother figure that he never really had for him. All the love and everything that he didn't receive as a child, I'm now responsible to bring into this relationship, right? Because these are the things that are being talked about. Now with him, he's doing the father figure, as in he's not leaving. Like I said, my biggest fear as a kid was that dad was going to leave. God forbid I'm not good enough that dad leaves. God forbid I'm going to get criticized today or whatever it is. I was not comfortable with allowing somebody to see me. But now this guy comes into my life and the mask comes off openly. Right? And I'm like, okay, this is weird, but I'm going to go with it. And I'm so thankful that I did. It was a beautiful relationship, besides all the bullshit. But we're in a relationship, 2.5 years of this beautiful relationship. Within this relationship, I fucked the whole relationship up. And this is because, mind you, I'm 15, he's 17. Like, he's older than me. He was always a little older than me. But I've always been mature, so I've always attracted older guys. So it wasn't like a grooming sense. It was generally 2 years difference, whatever. But in this relationship, now I'm generally being exposed to everything. Up until now, I was a virgin. I'm losing my virginity at 15. So I'm hypersexual already from everything that I went through in my childhood. Now I'm extra hypersexual, but within the relationship. And that's what the relationship consisted of. Don't get me wrong, even though it was beautiful, it was just layup, sex, eat, layup, sex, eat. And it didn't fulfill me anymore once I started to get a little older. Now I'm 17, he's 19. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? I'm seeing my friends go out on dates. I want to go out on dates. I don't want to just come over and lay in your bed and watch you play some whack-ass PS5 and now you lose and all the anger that you got from losing, now you're trying to take it out on me. You're horny as fuck, put your dick up. I don't want to touch it. Now I'm getting resentment because I'm like, is this all we're going to do? But even though I still fucked the relationship up because I self-sabotaged it, right? The guy that I was talking about in middle school, now I have the opportunity to rekindle with. Mind you, toxicity. Not even just middle school. The first 3 years of high school as well, because like I said, on and off. The toxicity. I fuck with you today, I don't fuck with you tomorrow. I'm purposely choosing that over I know that you're going to be here tomorrow. And I know that this relationship is safe and it's secure. And even though I'm a little bored, at least it's safe and secure. At least we have that with each other. I'm saying, fuck this. I want to go back to the crazy shit. Why? Why would you want to go back to the crazy stuff? Because now the excitement in this relationship has died. Which, what is the excitement? Security. Now that I know 100% you're not leaving me, now I don't care about it anymore. And so now I'm starting to mistreat him, as in he's looking for reassurance. I'm not giving it to him. He's looking for us to spend time together. I'm all of a sudden too busy and I don't want to. He's looking to get some affection from me. Now all of a sudden I'm turned off. Why? Because security is now a turn off for you. Security is boring. Yes, that's exactly what the fuck it was. That's exactly what the fuck it was. And it's the truth. It's the truth. You know, self-sabotage, it's a tricky topic to get into. But now we get into spiritual awakening. Why? Because, like I said, he's 19. I'm 17 now. So because he's 19, he's going through his adulthood while I'm still a teen. He's dealing with real shit. Like, his mom is stressing him about bills. And his mom is talking about his career. And he's getting into if he wants to go to college or not. He's getting into, you know, buying his own car for the first time and that type of thing. And I didn't understand that. So everything that he was trying to instill into me, which he had this really bad thing happen in his life and where he isolated and he got into spirituality. So now our conversations consist of meditation. Now our conversations consist of the way that the world has been constructed and why it's built the way that it is, because it's purposely built to make everyone fail. Now we get into him bettering himself and me watching it. And even though I'm admiring it, I don't really understand it. Everything changes. Everything changes in chapter 4, or is this chapter 3? Let's think about it like this. The relationship is now over. I broke up with him. I self-sabotaged it. And I told him the truth. I said, you know, I have feelings for two people at the same time. That doesn't feel right to me. I don't want to lay up with you and think about somebody else. We really need to break up, and I really just need some time to figure myself out. And I meant that. Did I mention the part of also figuring myself out with somebody else? Probably not. I didn't think that that was important because now we're broken up. But I really was trying to find out, like, do I really like this guy? Is this worth throwing my relationship away? Or, so even though I'm, you know, now I'm dealing with two people at the same time. Because even though me and him are broken up, we're not really broken up. Up until summer comes up. And now I've, like, officially caught feelings for somebody else. Now I've officially caught feelings for somebody else. And these feelings feel new and they feel excited. And now I feel like I'm finally kind of ready to, like, I understand that, like, I'm probably always going to be in love with this man, but a relationship is probably just not the... Because I know it's going to sound crazy, and I know that gender wars are probably going to not agree with me, but you can be in love with somebody and treat them like shit at the same time. Which is why love isn't even, you know, enough in relationships. You need the respect, you need the trust, you need the reciprocation. There are more things other than love that makes a relationship last. So it was very much possible for me to be in love and very much possible for me to still fuck it all up at the same time. Okay. Now it's been a year since we broke up, and we are each other's friends still. So I'm still, you know, supporting him and his things, and he's still supporting me, and we're checking in every now and then. Okay. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about this, and it's gonna be fine because we're just gonna talk everything out, okay? We text each other and we ask each other to meet up and, you know, just catch up. And we were supposed to catch up and see if there was still something there, if there was still a spark, if there was still a relationship worth saving that we could possibly get back into. Coincidentally, the same day that we are supposed to have this conversation, he brings me some food. I get in the car, I open the door. It's very clear, it's very evident that feelings are still there. There probably always will be. So I'm excited for this catch up. You know, I'm even thinking like maybe I'll get a kiss at the end of it. Maybe it's, you know, you don't really know what's gonna happen next. All I remember is him saying, Zeno, I really don't feel good. And then I turned around and he had peed himself. So that to me was like, where is this coming from? You know, because it's like what the fuck just happened, right? And he's making and he's making these weird sounds because he's having a stroke, right? So he's losing control of his body, and I don't know what the fuck to do because we are the only ones in the car. So again, I'm threatening to get out of the car, and I'm like, is this a prank? Is this a joke? Please don't play. I'm starting to get scared. And then that's when I looked over and I saw that he had peed himself. So I knew that this wasn't a joke. And then I'm screaming his name and no response. I'm looking at his eyes and he's completely lost consciousness. Like he's not there, right? So the first instinct that I had was to grab a cold bottle of water and throw it in his face, because at least then he would like wake up, right? But he can't wake up because his eyes are just, that's it. Like he just looks dead. And like I said, I have like little blurs and flashbacks, but I called 911, and I really just want to emphasize as well, like when we get into believing in a higher power, and we get into believing in things that are bigger than you, I did not call 911 that day. That was God through me. That was something through me, because I don't remember calling 911, you know? And I'm seeing him being dragged out of the car, and my entire life has now just turned upside down. Because one, you see something that you're never going to be able to forget. Two, you have no control if this person is coming back. I don't know what's going to happen once he gets to the hospital. I don't know if he's going to be the same person. I don't know what the fuck just happened. And I'm just trying to sit there and process what the fuck just happened. And because I can't make sense of it, now I'm questioning every single thing around me. Because if this doesn't make sense, then what else doesn't make sense? You know what I'm trying to say? And now I'm feeling guilt because I'm like, oh my God, we could have been together. What if we could have been together? And, you know, that way we wouldn't have had to catch up, and this day would have never happened. Or, you know, because I'm really trying to make logical and scientific sense of it. You know, this person doesn't smoke. This person doesn't drink. This person doesn't do anything that would negatively affect their health in any kind of way, to the point where a 21-year-old is having a stroke. You're 21. Like what the fuck what is going on? You know what I'm trying to say? So I go to the hospital. From the hospital, he's in a coma for 3.5 months. He is in a coma for 3.5 months. Nobody knows if he's going to wake up. There's a chance that he might wake up. There's a chance that he might not. His brain activity is not popping up the way that it should be, the way that a normal person would have. You know, the visit in the hospital, I'll never forget. The very first visit in the hospital was probably one of the most difficult things that I had to see. Just seeing them like attached to all these different wires and all these different, he's shaking, like, you know, like it was just so much to process, and it was so much pressure as well, because everybody is telling me like, you know, just keep going and just keep talking to him, because like I said, we believe in a higher power. So even though the person is in a coma, they can still hear what's going on around them. This is just something that I believe in, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm talking. He opens his eyes. Once we saw him open his eyes, which when I say we, I say me and mom, you know, like my mom, that was a second son to her. So like I said, everybody's world was just like, what the fuck? What just happened, you know? And me, I'm I'm going through a type of emotional numbness that you couldn't imagine. You know, now in my life, nothing else matters because nothing makes sense. This job that I'm working, I hate it because it doesn't make sense. What is money? What is the concept of money? Why does it exist? Who's setting the rules up here? You know what I'm trying to say? There has to be an explanation for this type of thing. And like I said, I just didn't care. I didn't care about my well-being. I didn't care about anything. All I knew was that I wanted to continue to stay numb. So now we get into weed addiction and we get into hypersexuality. I really think that people need to stop underestimating how hurt these hoes are. I know that sounds crazy. I know that probably sounds unserious, but I'm not even joking. Like, hug the hoes in your life. Sorry. Go up to these women and ask them, are you okay? Do you need a hug? What made you feel like you have to present yourself like this? Why are you living this lifestyle? Who are you trying to, do you feel better because you're living this lifestyle now? Like, are you okay? Because when we get into the topic of addiction, people forget that sex is a very big one, both for men and women. You know, it's both men and women who get tempted by lust, but the men are easily talked about because that's their nature, you know, so it's expected for them to be horny as fuck, and it's expected for them to be disrespectful and have the audacity that they have. But God forbid a woman taps into her lustful spirit. This bitch is a nobody. She I don't know what the fuck she's doing. What do you mean though? She's tempted by the same spirit that the man is. She's tempted by the same demons that the man is. She's tempted by the same feeling of I need to fill this void that the man is. Men won't tell you, but having sex fills voids for them. Having sex makes them feel as equally as wanted and as equally as sex is a very sacred thing in itself. It's a very emotional place to be in once you tap into that, you know? Once you stop trying to convince yourself, oh, I don't even care. Yeah, okay. Sure. Let's go with that. You know what I'm trying to say? So sex is a vice in itself, and you know, the hypersexuality from being sexually assaulted as a child, there's a reason why people in your life are hypersexual. There's a reason why everyone is so hypersexual nowadays. It's because the generation before us molested and sexually assaulted us. So it's like, and that's not to say that women don't wake up and just be like, I'm gonna be a hoe, because like I said, when we get into life and how difficult it is, it's amazing to try and put on an act. It's great to act like nothing matters until you realize everything matters. Everything matters, you know? And it's okay for things to matter. And I feel like when we tap into society and the outside world, right? When we talk about the Bible, the world, right? Live a godly life, not a worldly life. We get I view the world as society, as the people behind pulling the strings and making us feel like we need to live the life that we need to live, when really we don't need to. We can be whoever the fuck we want to be. We can present ourselves in any kind of way that we'd like to. You know what I'm trying to say? We don't have to follow trends to have popularity. We don't have to all be the same. It's okay to have individuality. It's okay to be your own person. And when we get into society, it's built against both men and women. You know, there's a reason why every time you turn on a song, you're gonna hear about sex, and it's going to be the topic of conversation. And don't get me wrong, it's not that it shouldn't be the topic of conversation. Like, sex is not a bad word. It's a part of life. It is what the fuck it is. But when you're using sex, both men and women, to fill a void within yourself, now it's become a problem. When you're using sex and you're abusing that sexual power, now it's become a problem. So it's like, this is the way that I like to think of it, right? Life is balanced. There's yin and there is yang. There's a reason why there's day and night. Without day, there is no night. Without night, there is no day. They need to coexist in order to exist with each other. But there is always that possibility of crossing that line. There's always that balance being imbalanced in some type of way in your control. You allow if you're going to cross that line or not. I had already crossed that line since a child, whether I had a choice or not. So now everything is just coming back, and everything is just like, okay, how can we continue to not feel anything? But we have to feel something. I got to smoke to feel something. I got to drink to feel something. I have to fuck to feel something, right? So now that goody two shoes reputation, only one body, only have one boyfriend, one body, out the fucking window. I'm the town's new whore. I'm the town's new hoe. Dyed my hair red, didn't look back. I think that says enough. I think that says enough. But like I said, now we hit rock bottom, right? Because if we talk about trauma dump, we just watched the love of our life have a stroke. We just watched it. It's embedded in our brains. You know, every song I listen to and think about him, I cry. And that's the only time that I how do I say it? That I fall apart is behind closed doors. In front of everybody, oh my God, Zio, since when do you come outside? Since when do you like to party? Oh my God, you're so much fun. I'm so much fun, right? I'm fun because I'm going down this rabbit hole with you. I'm fun because I don't know when to put the drink down just like you. I'm fun because now everything is, oh, we got to smoke to hang out. Again, going back to that innocence as a child. Now my hangouts consist of getting fucked up and not remember nothing the next day. Okay, now we get into hypersexuality. I'm presenting myself like a slut. I'm talking like a slut. I'm being slutty, basically, you know? Then a week after that happens, I get into a car accident. I lose my car. So I just lost the love of my life, basically, right? Because he's not coming back. And if he does come back, he's not going to be the same person. So all the memories that I have, I need to hold them and cherish them because that's the only remain that I have of that, right? Lost my car. You know how annoying it is to have to ask, hey, can I drive your car to go this? Having a car as a young teen, like whether you're like 17, 18, 19, even in your 20s, it's so freeing to just be able to be like, I'm going to go to my friend's house, bye, and get in your car and go. It's a freeing feeling. You can leave whenever the fuck you feel like it. Now I don't have that. I'm still going to work, but now I've reached the point where work doesn't even make sense to me, so fuck work. Now I'm not working. Now because I'm not working, I have to hear from my mom, her financial struggle and her thing, because that's what I was, you know, helping out with sometimes or whatever. So it's like everything in my world is crumbling down and everything is falling apart. Or so I thought. Everything is now falling into place. Everything is now falling into place. Now that I have this guilt from not cherishing this relationship, I can now focus on that. Once that's healed, and it took a long time to heal. Like, it took a long time to process. And now I can step into a different version of myself where she's secure within a secure relationship because she's now secure within herself. You know what I'm trying to say? Now I am, you know, I'm around people who are being honest with me about my behavior and about my character and about the things that are happening. Now I can now I get into questions is what I'm trying to say. Like, now I've reached my curious state, right? Why did this happen to him? One question. Why am I acting the way that I'm acting? Why does every friendship that I get in fail? Why does every relationship that I have turn into something that tears me apart by the end of it? Why are these things happening? That's when we get into curiosity. That's when we pick up our journal again, right? Now we're tapping into little Isabella, inner child. Let's get back to writing. Everything is being written. Every question you could think of, every, and don't get me wrong, like, they're getting written because I'm fucking up over and over and over again. And if you're sitting there and you're making your mistakes and you're only focusing on the negative stuff about those mistakes, you are not actually going to have any type of growth. Because I'm still in friendships with people who don't like me all the way. They can act like they like me, you know? They can act like, and maybe some of them really did. We're talking a big friend group here. It's a lot of people. You're not about to sit on my face and try to convince me that every single person in this friend group likes me. I had probably maybe like 2-3 real friends at that group. And even then I lost them too because I did not know how to be a good friend to myself. I want a good boyfriend, but I don't know how to be a good girlfriend because I'm not being a good person to myself. Everything is being reflected in front of me and everything is coming back full circle based off this one traumatic, life-changing event. And there's a reason why it's so traumatizing. There's a reason why you got to sit there and go through that pain. There's things that you now are tapping into, whether you like it or not. You're going rock bottom, the word bottom. You're starting here all over again. And now, like I said, now we get into spiritual awakenings. We get into ego deaths. I'm being humiliated. I am in this friend group that I dreamed of when I was a child, around people that I dreamed I wanted to be around as a child. And I'm slowly starting to see this is not fulfilling me in no type of way. This does not make me feel good, is what I'm trying to say. I don't feel good here. I don't feel safe here. I don't feel like I can be myself. I feel like I have to put on an act. And I didn't have to put on an act with those 2 or 3 real friends out the group, is what I'm trying to say. But because I had convinced myself that I needed to put on an act, I'm ruining every single other relationship in my life. So as I'm going through all this pain and this guilt, I'm writing about the pain and the guilt. And every time I write about the pain or the guilt or the shame, I am healing a part of me. I'm healing that guilt. I'm healing that shame. And everything is slowly now coming together. Everything is now, for example, now because I don't give a fuck about life, I'm feeling suicidal. I want to kill myself. I feel survivor's guilt. You know what I'm trying to say? You're telling me this one regular day we're meeting up and I have to watch that, and now I'm the only one that gets to walk away from it. That's survivor's guilt. Everything that I'm doing, I'm like, damn, I'm you know, and I don't want to think of it, so I'm literally doing anything else to not think about it. And now it's like, okay, well, if that doesn't make sense, then I don't really give a fuck. And so if I don't give a fuck, I could post myself on the internet talking my shit because I don't care what nobody else thinks. What are you guys doing for me? Other than providing me weed when I need it and drinks when I need it. I'm going through this by myself. There's nothing that anybody can say or do that is going to save me. And that was a really difficult position to be in, that it's on you. It's on you. And every time that I got comfortable and I thought, it's not on me, it's not, things are better, I would get myself into some more fucked up shit. So, you know, it was a lot. And, you know, now we get into emotional security and egotistic security as well. My biggest thing is my appearance, which is, again, why we get into ego deaths. Egos are going to tell you that you need to look the best, you need to be the best, and that nobody can be above you because everything is a competition, and God forbid you don't survive the competition. That's your ego. Whatever part that you feel in your mind and your soul and your spirit that resonates with whatever I said, that's your ego. That is what you try and live through, right? And I'm in this friend group, and like I said, I only have 2 or 3 real friends in this friend group. So I know when somebody is joking and when somebody is not joking. I know when somebody likes me and when somebody doesn't like me. I'm not stupid. Maybe a little naive, sure. Maybe a little gullible, sure. Maybe a little desperate for love and attention, 100%. Dumb, though? I'm not dumb. I know when a joke is a joke, and I know when somebody is throwing shade. I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb. And now I'm in this friend group where I'm being told, like, just be open with us, you know? Because now things are coming into play to the point where I'm being told about myself. I'm not liking what I'm hearing, but I'm still being told about myself. Like, it's being clear to me that, like, hey, all those insecurities that you have, they're not as secretive as you think. People can see them, and people can see why you act the way that you act, right? But it was so, like, manipulative in a way because I'm being told it's okay for you to talk to us about what's going on. And then the same thing that I just said is getting thrown in my face the next day. So, like I said, the relationship that you have with your parents is going to set the tone for the relationships that you have later on. Now I'm codependent of a friend group that doesn't really like me, right? And now jokes are being made of my appearance. To them, maybe that is the way that they joke around. You know, maybe that is the way that people like to joke around. That's fine. And that's fine, but now I'm being shown something of myself, which is, this is something that you can't be around. You cannot have jokes made of your appearance and take a joke. You're not in that phase of your life yet. You don't know how to do that. You don't know how to just laugh it off and not completely hate yourself for the next week because you don't look the way that they think that you should look. Or, like, I'm telling you, it was a lot of insecurity. It was a lot of insecurity. And friends, as your big sister, I'm gonna tell you right now, friends are not going to keep doing things that you don't like. You know what I'm trying to say? Friends are not gonna use their need to tell the truth as an excuse to be disrespectful. People should not be making negative jokes about your appearance. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're never going to tap into that secure version of yourself if you're still hanging around with people who do that. Because whether they realize it or not, they're triggering an insecure side of you and an insecure part of you. And yes, I did reapply my lip combo. Sorry, I just came back. I had to fix that up real quick. We can be sad, we can trauma dump, but we're still gonna look put together while we're doing it. Thank you. Basically, what I'm trying to say is everything in my life just didn't make any sense and nothing really fit anymore. And all this time that I spent trying to force it and stay in it and try and make sense of it, it was ruining everything that I had going on. So once I finally let go and I finally said, you know what, let me just take a chance on the things that I want to do. I posted my story time on TikTok and went viral. From there, I built a platform of Big Sister. So when I get into being a Big Sister, single-handedly changed my life. I don't think that I would have made the growth or the changes that I needed to make if I didn't start the Big Sister series. Because now I have something holding me accountable. And not only does the internet know, my friends know it too. They're like, didn't you just post to, you know, a bunch of young girls that they should do this, this, and this, but now behind closed doors, you're not even doing the same. So now it's a certain standard that I need to live up to, which the standard is my higher self, the best version of myself. So now I can be motivated to heal other people. And now I'm healing something in myself because I'm healing other people. And now I can work on a more secure version of myself because I'm doing rejection therapy every day. Every video that I'm cringed at or I'm embarrassed by, I'm posting regardless because I'm exposing myself to get used to the idea of being exposed, to get used to the idea of having eyes on me. You know what I'm trying to say? To get used to me seeing myself, which is why I get so emotional when I talk about content, because it's like, you don't understand the amount of love I have for each individual supporter. And it's such a beautiful feeling to have people see you for you. There's so many comments that I resonate with, and there's so many, and this is when like we get into Leos, right? Leos, we like attention. We do. But I think people mistake the kind of attention that we like. We don't want attention to have attention. We like to be seen. Because now being seen means something. And I feel like that's what anybody wants in any type of connection, is to be seen for all sides of you. Right? Which is why shadow work is so important. And like I said, that traumatizing situation, it honestly, it made me do the shadow work without even noticing that I was doing it, which is just asking the why. Why am I this way? What side of this am I even resonating with? You know, now I'm naturally doing the shadow work to the point where I don't have to write it down because and that's another thing too. When we get into the science, journaling, you are rewiring your brain. Every time that you sit down with a pen and paper and you write something down, you are rewiring your thinking process. So if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have gotten back into journaling. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't cherish the relationships that I have now. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it does make me a little afraid. It does make me a little afraid. For example, my friends don't pick up the phone. I automatically go to, oh my God, what if something happened? I'm never going to see them again. This is true. This is true. This is still something that I feel sometimes, but it comes with the human experience. It comes with the human experience. To love something, to love someone is to have something to lose. And I think that people really don't understand the importance of allowing yourself to lose it. You know, accept the fact that you're going to lose it one day so you can enjoy it now. You know, that relationship that's trying to creep in that you feel you're not deserving of, jump into that. The career that you feel like you're not good enough for because you never actually took a chance, jump into that. To love something, to cherish something is to have something to lose. And you're going to have a much better time actually putting a foot forward and trying to get that thing instead of trying to convince yourself that, oh, well, if I never have it, then I'm never going to lose it. You're never going to have it. Everything in this life you're going to lose. When I die, I can't take any of this shit with me. I'm going to lose it. That's something I already accepted, which is why I'm so grateful for it now, which is why we get into the 3 things that I'm grateful for, which is why we get into gratitude lists, right? As I'm writing my story times, I'm writing in my notes, I am so thankful for the platform that I've built. I have 200 followers while I'm saying this, but because I'm so thankful for every little comment, every little like, It's being multiplied into more and more and more. Because I'm so thankful for the love in my life, I am attracting and welcoming more. Because I'm so thankful for the job that I have, even though this isn't the life that I pictured for myself, I am now stepping into abundance. I am now stepping into I'm welcome. I'm welcoming all these things because I'm, ooh, okay, sharp nails. Because I'm grateful. So that is where I'm gonna end this video off. We talked about a lot. We covered a lot. Okay, during this video we covered hypersexuality. We covered being a pick-me. We covered being a bully in our childhood. We covered dysfunctional families. We covered emotional instability. You know, we covered emotional instability. We covered, oh, you know what we didn't cover? What we didn't cover is bipolar. So now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we get into diagnosed. I have now been diagnosed with bipolar 2. And this was something that I attached myself to for a very long time. I made it my identity. I made it the reason why all my friendships failed. I attached all my trauma and all my pain to that one diagnosis. And even though I didn't realize it, I was allowing it to overpower my life. Everything now just became, oh, well, I'm allowed to do this, this, and this because I'm bipolar. Nah, fuck it. It's my diagnosis. I'm bipolar. No. I didn't recognize the gift that being bipolar was. And again, when we talk about spirituality, because I'm asking why about everything around me, I now understand who's behind all this bullshit, right? Who's really in charge of it. And now I'm doing my own research and I'm finding out that back then, people who had spiritual gifts like hearing people talk, right? Being able to hear noises and sounds and see colors and everything that's being labeled as crazy back then, right? And they're being sent to this facility where they're being studied on and worked on and watched, right? It's the same thing that I would have got called crazy for if I lived during that time. Right? When we really get into what bipolar is and all of the symptoms, you feel everything extremely intensely. Everything is intense. There is no color. You see everything in black and white. It's all or nothing. It's one or the other, right? And most importantly, because you're so in tune with that energy, you are naturally going to resonate with whatever energy is being presented to you. So if I'm angry, I don't know how to just feel angry and let it go. I become angry. I attach myself to that, you know? When we're talking about love, people who are bipolar, when we get into your favorite person, right? Your favorite person, you become obsessed with this person. You romanticize this person. People are not born bipolar. People are made bipolar. And like I said, it is a spiritual gift that I've learned to tap into. You know, you alchemize it. You stay grounded within it. Whatever you feel like you have no control over in your life, you are meant to alchemize, right? So I can very well sit here and be like, I'm bipolar, I'm crazy as fuck, I'm never going to have a normal life. Or I can use my gifts to my advantage. There's a reason why I feel things so intensely. That same intensity that I feel when I'm angry and when I'm sad, I'm going to feel when I'm happy, which is going to be good and beneficial to the people around me because now I know how to spread light to a negative situation. You know, I know the importance of everyone being on good terms and good energy being in the room with us. You know what I'm trying to say? Bipolar people, they're always artistic. They're always creative. They always have some type of gift or talent or success within their careers. Like, I'm really doing my research. I'm like, what the fuck? Bipolar people, the way that we get in tune with music, the vibrations around us, we are extremely sensitive for a reason. You know, we are any sensitive person. You don't have to be just bipolar. Sensitivity is a power within itself. It's all about how you use it. And so, like I said, when we get into journaling, because I'm taking the time, pen and paper, I'm realizing who is in control, not of society, but of my inner world, my reality, the things that I want to do. And if I can just use all of these things that have been labeled negative for good, then I can change something within myself. And if I can change me, then I can change the things around me. You know what I'm trying to say? So we really step into a place of control. We really step into, yes, this is why we showed up and we did this, this, and this, but now we know how that ended up. So now we can do something different. We don't have to attach ourselves to our pain. We don't need to attach ourselves to an identity that's no longer serving us, built out of trauma and pain that we had. You know what I'm trying to say? Stop repeating to yourself that you're depressed. Stop repeating to yourself that you're broke. Stop repeating to yourself that you're tired and that you're stressed. And stop affirming out into the air these things about yourself, because they're not you. They're going to play a part into who you are based off how you react to them. They're going to play a part in how your life is going to go, but they are not you. This is a situation that's being presented to you. There's a choice within this situation. You know what I'm trying to say? There's a reason why it's in your face the way that it is. How are you going to choose to look at it though? What are you going to do from here on out? You know, because if you sit there and every time that you're sad, stressed, angry, you're repeating these things, you are affirming it. When we get into affirmations, everybody wants to, oh, spirituality is demonic. Why though? Prayer is affirmations. You are speaking life over your life. Affirmations, you're affirming. When we get into the word future, what does future mean after you've already said it? What does past mean before you've said it? You dictate your future. You dictate where things go from here. You dictate your character and how you want to show up. Stop attaching yourself to old versions of yourself that no longer serve you, right? Once you have been made aware of it, you are not supposed to attach yourself to the guilt. You are supposed to feel it, and you are supposed to remember it in a way of, this really hurts. I never want to go through this again. How can I not go through this again? Okay? Enjoyed the time spent together. Let's go ahead and take that out, because now we've discussed everything that we need to discuss. Let's get into what we discussed in this video so far. We have discussed emotional instability, hypersexuality. We trauma dumped from the two most traumatic things in our life. We talked about an unstable childhood. We talked about having an emotionally unavailable father. We talked about having an emotionally overbearing mother. We talked about journaling and why it's so important. Okay, we listen and we don't judge. Let's get into it. Got into it. We got into it, and it was a vibe. I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for sitting and listening if you've been here this long. And most importantly, after you watch this video, whatever motivation you felt within watching it, do something with it. For the love of God, do something with it. Do something different if you feel like different has been on your spirit, has been on your mind, okay? Your big sis said it first. I love you guys so much. I wish that I could just... First of all, I really wish that we could just, you know, but I promise you, virtually. High five, high five, high five. Yup. Listen, we're in this together. We're in this together, and you can do this. So, mwah, love you. See you in the next video. Bye.
But they show no face. They say you found it, but she's still